Shoot the works.
Okay, well, hello and welcome to NinonSpeaks Media Image. My name is AJ Dean. I'm your co-host. It's my privilege and honor to introduce the wonderful and amazing and beautiful Ninon Devere de Rosa. Hello, Ninon.
I think we need to reverse that and say the wonderful, amazing AJ, because you are amazing.
You're kind.
I mean, you know, it's to me, it's wonderful, and to be able to give to people at this particular time when people are under stress, and we're going to try to help them to get out of that stress and try to get them moving, obviously, in a different direction.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
I understand we have two guests today. Where are they?
We do. I'm going to let them in, but I just want to show and tell a little bit about them. Miranda Smith, she's a burlesque performer, wonderful. And Dixie Dooley, he is a mystifier, a magician, and he owns a magic shop. So let me go ahead and admit them.
I'd like to hear.
Here she is. Hello, Miranda.
Hello. It only took me like 25 minutes to figure that out. Okay. Hey.
Yeah, well, Miranda, I'm going to give you your first lesson. Number one, look into the camera.
I am looking.
Now you're looking down. Look into the camera. It's at the top of your screen. There you go. There you go. And next time, be a little bit more ready.
I was last time.
Last time. Yeah, but we're on this time, not last time. Listen, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
Very well. I'm extremely well. With all the pandemic and all this crazy nonsense going on. And I was laughing actually because it seems like only the Republicans have got the virus and the Democrats don't have it in Washington. And I think that's unusual. It's like, you know, only the Democrats have all these street things going on. And I'm neither one of them. I don't vote for anybody. I just agree with who's doing good for the country. But so I just thought that was rather quite funny that none of the Democrats have got the COVID. So I don't know. What do you think?
It seems that they might be onto something. They definitely don't have it. So I don't know.
No, there's a wall there and it says you can't come in, virus. But give it all to the Republicans. Oh, it's just my sense of humor. Now then, Miranda, you are a burlesque, or was, or still are, a burlesque dancer.
I am still on some occasions. I still am, yes.
What do you mean some occasions? You should be doing it all the time.
Well, with COVID, it's a little hard, so I still dance at home.
I'm going to say something really not nice. Is it because of COVID you're not out there, or is it because you can still do it on Zoom? You can still do a lot of different things, and the imagination can bring in other things. What do you think?
It's because of COVID, and you know we're looking at doing some things on Zoom, but hopefully we'll be back on the stage very soon. So things are looking up.
On the stage, Vegas just come back. How many shows they've booked there? They seem to be a little bit sort of, they're anticipating, I think. I don't know what they're doing or thinking about it, but it's there's pockets of people can be here, but pockets of people can't be there. So I'm totally confused about the whole thing. What do you think, AJ?
Well, I think that, you know, for COVID, this is we're doing a great thing here. It's a new platform. And I think that Miranda has some great ideas. She is thinking about doing things online, and then also she's president of Burley Cares, so she is reaching out to the community and helping legends in the burlesque industry. You know, when sometimes they need maybe a little bit of help now and then, and it's a wonderful organization. So I want to give a shout out to that. And she's just a beautiful heart, and she loves people, and she loves the entertainment industry. So I think us brainstorming and reaching out and continuing these things, this is the direction. This is the virtual reality that we need to connect with.
This is that direction. Miranda, you said you want to do Zoom. Do you know how to put this all together and how to do it? Well, by the way, are you in a car or where are you?
I am. I'm in my car, also known as my office. I didn't want my dogs barking throughout the interview, so I left my house. So I'm in a car.
Okay. Okay.
And
can tell the roof because I'm looking at the roof of your car, so you might want to put your phone a little bit less roof and more you. That's wonderful. That's
Here I am.
how quickly she learns.
Beautiful, beautiful, Miranda. Yes.
I wanted to show off my car though, so there.
A roof of a car is a roof. A roof is a roof is a roof. Anyway, so what have you done and how are you doing it to get on this Zoom thing? Because this Zoom seems to be amazing for everybody with this COVID dilemma.
I'm still learning all the tricks of the trade, and you've taught me a few today already. So I'm still learning all the tricks of the trade in terms of virtual media, but Zoom is definitely the way to go. We're going to do a show through Zoom and invite all of our fans and supporters to watch and see our burlesque show from the House of Glamour.
How are you going to get to your supporters and people? What are you going to do there?
We're very active on Facebook. So we have a lot of supporters there. We have a lot of groups that we're involved in. And also by reaching out through other media outlets such as yourself and others, hopefully we'll be able to get the word out and get more people involved in watching burlesque again. It's time. We're ready.
It is time. Are you totally ready? Because I think everybody, this is a message to everybody out there actually. Are you ready for a change? Because I personally don't think anything's coming back the same as it was. There's a lot of people who want to go back to the office because they don't want to be home with the wife and all the kids. So that's one of them. Or the wife wants to get out because she doesn't want to be home either with the kids and everybody else. So but I also see a tremendous amount of work at home and changing, like you're going to be doing Zoom. You can't go on the stage just yet, but maybe you're going to do Zoom and the stage.
It's looking that way. It's looking that way. I don't think we're ever going to return to normal or what we knew as normal. Now we have a new normal and we have to adapt and move with that. And so Zoom is the way to go, virtual media. And of course, still, you know, homegrown shows. Those are going to, I think those will be back. It's just going to take some time.
What do you mean by homegrown shows? What exactly does that terminology mean?
Just our usual shows that we put on in bars and clubs and things like that. The shows that we normally do.
I think we've got old Dixie's back again with his roses. I've had a complete thing of him trying to set up, which I thought he had done before. Hey, Dick, here's you 1 minute, Miranda. I've got to acknowledge Dixie. Dixie, you're in a bit of a Dixie doodly way. What's going on?
I hear you, finally.
Yeah, I hear you too, finally.
We're live from Marilyn Monroe's tomb here. Right behind this cement here is one time the most beautiful woman on earth, Marilyn Monroe.
I have to agree with you because to my mind as well, a tremendous amount of people out there. She was one of the most beautiful women in the world. And her tragic death was, none of us really will probably ever know why or when, or everybody's blaming everybody else, but maybe she just died of whatever with her own causes. Who knows? But
look who's buried right next to her, Hugh Hefner.
Hugh Hefner. I think
Hugh Hefner is right next to her.
She
passed away in 2017.
2017.
Uh-huh.
So
I brought some roses to put on Marilyn's grave. There have been people coming here all day today. And I bought 2 special roses here for you, Nina, and A.J. Dean to put on Marilyn's grave.
Mine with mine.
That's for you.
Such a tribute. What a beautiful tribute. Thank you so much.
We've got our roses. Marilyn Monroe. That is such a thoughtful thing to do.
Yeah, it's our Marilyn Monroe Day today. We're going from here. We're going to go to Brentwood to the house she passed away in. It was actually the only house she owned in her life. She always stayed in rentals or with husbands in their houses, but this was the only house she really owned. And so we're going to go there a little bit later. We got in here at 12 midnight, and it's a different color than the other stones. As you can see, it's a different color. And that's because everybody's always putting their hands on it and kisses. You see the kisses there. So It's turned to stone color, and they leave pennies here, and they will take a piece of paper and put over this and scrape the Marilyn Monroe plaque there too, as a souvenir.
So Dixie, what makes you so fascinated and interested in dedicating really a lot of your life to this woman? What's the reasoning?
Actually, not a lot of my life. When I was a little boy, I used to tell my mother, when I grow up, I'm going to marry Marilyn Monroe, because I thought she was the prettiest woman in the world. And then for years, I paid no attention to it. And then all of a sudden, about 3 years ago, it was like a calling or something, you know? And so I started reading more and more. I always thought I'd seen all of her movies and stuff. I had only seen little clips from her movies. And when you actually watch the movies, it's fascinating. She was a real talent. You know, she could play the dumb blonde, which she wasn't. She wasn't dumb at all. She read constantly and was, you know, on the level of Robert Kennedy. She could carry on conversations with people like that about diplomacy and politics and history. And so she was not dumb at all. But, and if you see a lot of pictures of her, you'll see her where she is actually reading a lot, and she's got a library at her house and all. And her clothing, her dress was kind of strange, because if you see a lot of times what she's wearing, the beautiful gowns and all, she went to the studio and got those for the evening so she could wear them, and had her makeup done at the studio and all. But she loved to she was kind of a tomboy. She wore sweatshirts and jeans around the house, and did not have a big wardrobe. So a fascinating person, fascinating individual. Died in 1962, and that's getting further and further away from us, you know. And people, it's amazing. People are come from all over the world, even on an off day, like a Wednesday, like today. You see them bringing flowers and coming to see Marilyn Monroe's grave. I mean, she was a major superstar. Before the Beatles used to have people follow them around all the time, wherever they went, taking pictures. Before the Beatles, it was Marilyn. She did a stunt once in New York City. She was with a friend, and she had sunglasses and her hair in a scarf. And she told her friend, "You want to see me become Marilyn? You want to see me become her?" And they said yes. And she took the scarf off and the glasses and began to walk like Marilyn and just change her whole body, you know, the way she walked and the way she moved. And in no time, she was signing autographs, and there was a big crowd gathered around everybody. So that's Marilyn Monroe, you know. So she was a fascinating lady. She really was. A lot of charisma.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that's a wonderful story. I was trying to get a word in edgeways there to answer the different questions that lost them all now. I couldn't get in. But
you're with Dixie Dooley. You can't do that.
Dooley, I can't talk at all. I got to shut up.
No.
No, I'm teasing. Now, obviously, you're in Brentwood at the moment, correct?
No, we're in West Hollywood.
Oh, West Hollywood. Okay.
Mm-hmm. She's in a very nice little, really small cemetery. It's in the middle of all these skyscrapers and all, and it's very quiet. And Buddy Rich is buried here. Zsa Zsa Gabor is buried here. Who else? We've seen a bunch of the famous people. Rodney Dangerfield.
Rodney, you've already
right down there. He's not getting any respect though. They buried him way down on the other end.
I happen to know, and I'm just going to keep talking, because if I don't keep talking, I'm never going to get a word in. AJ, you wanted to say something. Come on.
Yes, I did. I wanted to say something. Dixie, is it Forest Hills in West Hollywood, Forest Hills Cemetery in California?
No.
No. This is, what is the name of the cemetery?
This is actually...
Hang on, we're going to find out where we're at. We've been driving all night.
Yeah, it's Westwood, it's Brentwood, it's all in the area. It's in that particular area where all these...
I think it is Westwood.
Yes.
Westwood Cemetery.
Yeah, Westwood Cemetery. But it's very nice, and it's very... Yeah. And I don't know why they put her there, but they did. But that's, you know, obviously what her wish was. But now...
Well, it's not far from her. It's not far from her house. Joe DiMaggio actually... had the whole ceremony and everything take place. Joe DiMaggio was her, I think he was her third husband. and he took care of everything and sent her roses twice a week up until he passed away. So, you know, he loved Marilyn. That was the love of his life. And she made him promise that if I die before you, I want you to send me roses to my grave. And he did, twice a week for years.
Miranda, hey Miranda, how are you? As you can see, I can't talk.
I'm still good.
Hey Miranda.
Hi Dixie, how are you?
I'm good. Say hi to Marilyn Monroe.
Hello Marilyn, much love to you.
She's right here.
It's like a dedication show to Marilyn Monroe, and I really couldn't think of anything better than dedicating this show to her. And thank you, Dixie, for bringing this up and for bringing her back into our lives when we're all living such a dismal life. So now we can all think of that beautiful woman. And she was really, truly a very good actress. And you're absolutely right. Marilyn Monroe truly was very dedicated to her body, to her makeup, her hair. Everything had to be very, very perfect. And she worked on that for years. But she really didn't have to because she was naturally beautiful. And back to Miranda. Miranda, you were saying that you had another organization that you actually, you've put together. What is that organization?
I'm president of a nonprofit called Burley Cares.
Yes.
And what we do is we help retired showgirls, retired performers. We assist them with medical needs. We assist them with other like living expenses, things of that nature. We also help combat loneliness. A lot of them are living by themselves. And so we have monthly luncheons where we can sit with the legends and learn from them, because that's something that you really need a chance to do, is to learn from the people who came before you.
Absolutely. But the funny thing is, you know, anybody in entertainment, even probably myself and AJ, who's entering into the entertainment business, it's funny, but we never want to let go of being an entertainer, of being a showman, of being out there. And when you talk about these burlesque dancers, how old are they roughly when they retire? Because it seems like somebody of like 70 is still doing it.
Oh yeah, some haven't retired. We have burlesque performers 70. Georgette Dante, she was on your show not that long ago.
Yeah.
And I won't say her age because that's not polite, but she's still performing, and you know, she's definitely over 21. And we still have lots of legends performing every year at the Burlesque Hall of Fame festival. So we still have lots of legends performing.
Where's the Hall of Fame festival held?
It's held at the Orleans.
Oh, in New Orleans?
The New Orleans casino, yeah.
Oh, how fabulous. Oh, in Vegas, you mean?
Yes, it's held here in Vegas, so we're the hot spot.
Yeah, you sure are. Well, I want your hot spot on my show. I have another show called Vegas Live with Ninon. I'm sure you know about it, and I'd love to have you on. The same, same with Dixie. Dixie, I love your name, DD. You know why? Because my last initials are DD. I'm Ninon de Verder.
Oh, yeah?
I'm a DD and you're a DD. And where do you live? So you live in Las Vegas?
Yes, I live in Las Vegas. I have a magic shop at the Boulevard Mall and the Majestic Theater, where Miranda had her burlesque show for, I guess, years. She did in my theater. And we've been performing in Las Vegas and producing shows. That's Magic at O'Shea's and all over Las Vegas.
Say, what do you think of Vegas right now?
The magic.
Yeah, what do you think of
What's
Vegas?
that?
What do you think of, hello, what do you think of Vegas right now? Because now we're kind of coming back. We're sort of, you know, we're on this border. The governor has actually allowed us, you know, to sort of come back and sort of relive again. What do you think? How's it going? And are you excited about this?
Well, the governor technically is not allowing live entertainment yet. You have to submit a plan and how you, it's very difficult because, you know, your whole life you spend producing and wanting more people and get people to come see your show. And then suddenly they're telling you, you got to limit how many people you can have and all that. So it's very tough. I think I'm just going to kind of wait until everything comes back the way it should and you can have an audience in front of you the way you should have and do it the right way, you know. And it might take a while. But I always love Las Vegas. I'm probably one of the #1 promoters of Las Vegas around the world and telling people about Vegas. There's a magic about Las Vegas that no other city has. Hollywood was my first pick, but Hollywood is more television and films. Live performance, Las Vegas is like the modern day vaudeville. And I've been the king of the little shows. I've had little shows all over town for years and theaters. And so I love entertainers. I'm like you in that way. I really love entertainers. And if I can ever help an entertainer, I try to do that, give them a place to do their show, be creative, not tell them how to produce their show, let them do their own thing so that the people
introduce them to people. That's what, Vegas Live with Nina, that's what we do. We actually have the platform for a lot of the entertainers that don't have the opportunity to actually be seen. So we get them on the show and they're seen. They're doing great. They're absolutely wonderful.
For about 3 or 4 years, I had the theater there, and I had up to 8 shows a week, different shows performing in there numerous times in the theater. And it was a lot of fun. There was a lot to keep up with, but it was a lot of fun, all the live shows and everything. And it really surprised some of the hotels when they saw so many people coming in there from nowhere, And all the shows would do their own advertising and promote themselves the way they wanted to promote themselves. And so it was fun.
Yeah, Dixie, in what way can I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Though you've had a lot of minutes already, I haven't got anything left to say. But
we wasn't sure what was going on because we weren't getting any audio.
That's okay. So. About a thing. Everything's going great. I want to get a couple of minutes, 2 minutes out of you of what we can do and what you need out there and how we can help you in Vegas, because I'm in Vegas and we can actually help you. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes of talk. Well, you probably need more than that, but I'll give you a couple of minutes.
Well, right now, I really think that what we need in Las Vegas is someone to figure out a way for us to get back to doing live shows. And it's going to be a whole different ballgame when we come back. Cirque du Soleil filed bankruptcy, and when they come back, there's only supposed to be a couple of their shows there. That's going to open up a lot of theaters and a lot of showrooms. And so all we need is to gradually get back to being able to have our audiences in front of us and be able to draw people. And you can tell a lot by the airplanes, the jets coming in. You used to see one jet right after the other coming into Las Vegas. And then all of a sudden when the COVID thing hit, you saw nothing. It was dead. There was no planes coming in, maybe 1 or 2 private planes every now and then, and that was it. And they're starting to come back. It's starting to come back. The Las Vegas, I promise you, will come back bigger and better than ever before. And the shows will be more diversified. Like when I first moved here, there was so many different kinds of shows. They didn't all have the same style or whatever.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
And I like that.
Project, but we have about 10 minutes left.
Okay, so we just had, thank you, AJ, because that's, we need to know. We just had a couple of minutes of Dixie Dooley of what he thinks about Vegas. Now I'm going to go over to Miranda. Miranda, I would like to get a couple of minutes of you about what you want, where you want to go, and how we can help you in Vegas, or how you can help anybody in Vegas. But this is your time, couple of minutes, okay?
Okay, I can do that. I think it's really important, especially with the changes that we're all experiencing, that we continue to support independent artists through whatever means we can, which would be virtual shows. Go check them out on Zoom and on Facebook Live. You'll see that there are a lot of performers out there entertaining. They're there for you, ready to entertain. They just need the audience, and you can help us by doing that. So seek out those shows, and then in time, when we're back in the cabarets and we're back on stage, come to those shows as well. And also, it's very dear to my heart, please check out burleycares.com if you're interested in helping local legends who might need a little assistance.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. In what direction, because it's coming out very different now, what have you got in your mind as to getting back onto the stage? I know we're going to do Zoom, but what you're going to do different when you come back onto the stage to make it a little more exciting and maybe, I don't know, I'm going to say a little more risque, because I don't know how risque you are, though, so I don't know what I'm saying. What do you think that could draw people to what you do?
I think really just the nature of it being a live show and interaction between audience and performers, that's always drawn people in. And I think that will continue to do that. Nothing beats live entertainment. And that's one of the reasons why I love living in Las Vegas.
Absolutely. Yeah, Vegas is how long have you been in Vegas?
I'm pretty much a native. I moved here when I was 4 years old.
Oh my goodness gracious me. Excuse me, but were you doing burlesque then?
Right out of the womb. Right out of the womb. That's how I did it.
What it is fun. AJ, I want a couple of minutes with you of when you're listening to all. This is very new to AJ, this show. So AJ's come in as my co-host. She's an amazing woman. The reason I chose AJ because I had this other show, Vegas Live with Ninon, and she kept looking, and I kept saying AJ, and this was great, this is good, and I thought, who is this woman? So anyway, I got in touch with her, and we've ended up doing a show. She's actually brought to life NinonSpeaks Media Image, which is where I actually help people. I've helped a lot of people one-on-one. I never really did a Zoom thing with this. So this is how. Now, AJ, what are your feelings of what we've got through so far and how we've done and how you feel?
I think it's absolutely phenomenal, and I love both of our guests, and I would suggest one thing to them. A lot of people are transitioning into OnlyFans, and it's not just for a specific category anymore. So I would say branch out into that as well. Why not? And I think that's a wonderful avenue to do, and start doing things differently in a different way. This is the whole beauty of it. There's such creativity and unlimited possibilities out there on these platforms. So just like we took today to, we went and did a tribute to beautiful and the wonderful Marilyn Monroe with Dixie Dooley in West Hollywood. This is phenomenal. This is amazing. And I love Dixie and I love Miranda. I love our guests today also. I love all our guests.
Yeah.
But it's wonderful. I just want to thank you for including me. It's a great, great time. And wonderful things are going to happen.
Well, this has also opened up your life as going to doing different things and on a different route that you haven't done before. And you know, you're amazing. And bringing in our guests to sort of let people know that Marilyn Monroe, she may have passed away, but she has not been forgotten. And because of Dixie Dooley, this is all happening. And then also because of Miranda Smith, we've got to know about the burlesque. That hasn't died either. I mean, these are two things, but people don't think burlesque is still around. They don't think Marilyn Monroe is still around. Well, they both are, because it's both been brought to life today. And because of actually AJ finding the guests and getting our guests on, and they're in Vegas at that, this makes the show absolutely amazing. And I thank both of you for taking the time out and for giving. You know, both of you are giving to other people at the moment to let them know what they can do and where they can go, and to keep that enthusiasm up, because that's what entertainers are. We, you know, but don't be selfish. Reach out to other people. And I love what you said, AJ. It's not only your fan club. Reach out, Dixie, Miranda, reach out to other people. Don't be afraid, even if it's just one person. Reach out, because 1 makes 2 and 2 make 4 and 4 make 8 and 8 makes 16, and it goes on and on and on.
That's lovely. Yes, thank you. So I want to thank both of our guests. And any other comments? There's about 4 minutes left, just to let you know. So if anyone wants to use that as an additional time, please go ahead. You're welcome.
I'd like to ask, Miranda, where can people reach you?
I'm easily found on Facebook under my name, Miranda Smith, or under House of Glamour.
Okay. Dixie Dooley, how about you?
Well, you can reach me on Facebook, Dixie Dooley, and that's my real name, by the way. 3 generations of Dixie Dooleys. Wow. And you can reach me on Facebook, or you can reach me at my email, which is magidixie@yahoo.com. And we're going to be doing a lot in the future with Marilyn Monroe. Last year, on her death day, we had a seance, and it was amazing how many people showed up. Marilyn Monroe fans are. She certainly was a superstar. Yeah. And as they came into the room, we offered them Chanel No. 5 because that was her favorite perfume. So the whole room smelled like Marilyn, you know, or have the essence of Marilyn. So that was a fun time, and we plan on doing other things with Marilyn. And like I said, I kind of got a calling to to investigate Marilyn a little further or something. I got this sense that came to me like in dreams or something, that you need to do something with it. And I began to study it. That's how this all came about. And there's more to come.
What was your favorite film? Mine was 7 Year Itch and the classic scene of her over the New York grate. What was your favorite movie, Dixie?
7 Year Itch. I love 7 Year Itch. I loved Niagara, which she was totally dramatic in that. But she was at her peak when it came to her beauty and all. She had this glow about her. And some people claimed it was the way she did her makeup because she had a little light hair all over her face, and they'd make that up. So when she entered into a room, there was this glow about her, you know, and her presence was, she dominated the room. And women liked her and men liked her. So that's pretty rare too.
That's pretty cool. That really is. Yeah. And I think that's amazing.
Well, you know, she's a rag to riches story. You know, she was an orphan. She had nothing. Oh. She was in orphanages. Her mom was in a mental institution. She didn't know who her dad was, and she went from one orphanage to another. And that's the way she was brought up. And for her to become the superstar that she became through her dedication and drive is something that people should respect. And entertainers and actors should remember that there's a story, Mitzi Gaynor said that she came in early one morning and her hair was all messed up and her makeup was messed up, and they were all going, she's been out all night. And the truth was, behind it, was she'd been up all night studying her lines and trying to remember her lines for the film. So she was pretty dedicated.
Yeah. Amazing. And I loved Marilyn Monroe very much. I read a lot of her books and her autobiography, and there's less than 1 minute. So if anyone wants to contribute, please.
Yes, to contribute, diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Oh, that was beautiful. That was a beautiful movie. That song, the diamonds she has around her neck, I actually saw those in London when I was in London doing shows by the Club Maximus there. The lady who owned the club actually had those diamonds, and they are worth more than if they were real diamonds. And they're fake diamonds, not real, they're glass or something, but they're worth more than if they were real diamonds because they belong to Marilyn.
These are for Marilyn Monroe. I got my diamonds on. So
cool.
That's for Marilyn Monroe. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. And
I love you. All right.
Thank you all to our guests. Thank you all to our guests. Thank you. You've been wonderful. It was a phenomenal and brilliant show. And we send our love